Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America and the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Great to have you with us on the program today. Remind you, you can follow us and like us on Facebook. Very simple, facebook.com/This Week in America. Facebook.com/This Week in America. As mentioned, our guest on the program today is the author of How About a Casserole, D.A. Samarin. Dorothy, welcome to the program. A pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Rick. Glad to have you. Glad you called.
I am looking forward to this so much. And let's start by talking, basically, what is a casserole? For some people, it's like, if I can't put it in the microwave right away, I don't know what you're talking about. What exactly goes into a casserole?
A lot of different stuff. It's kind of like you have a leftover here, you have some extra pasta, you have some hamburger, chicken, you mesh it all up, put a little cheese, and voila, stick it in the oven, and there you go.
Well, it's a nice thing, and in the book, a whole lot of recipes broken down into categories. You've got beef, chicken, vegetable. You've got miscellaneous casseroles and side dishes. You have bonus recipes, all very easy to follow. And the nice thing with the casserole, as you mentioned, it's different ingredients. It's pretty much whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
And the nice
and they
thing,
are easy.
yeah, and the nice thing with so many people running around and the kids have practice and mom and dad are off to work and off to meetings and that type of thing, this is really something what you could prepare ahead of time, freeze it, pop it in the oven. You could make it fresh and have a couple of meals. It really is quite versatile.
Exactly. Just throw in a salad, maybe a little rolls or garlic bread or whatever, and there you go. Your meal's complete.
And I mentioned busy parents. Your children are grown now, but you had, 3 children at home, so I imagine you got quite a bit of practice.
Oh, well, no, all our daughters are all grown and married.
Yes.
We have 9 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren.
So when the girls were growing up, the children were growing up, I assume casseroles came in very handy?
Oh, yeah, because they're involved in soccer and then not baseball, softball, because I had girls, and stuff and school activities. So they were helping me a great deal growing up cooking, yes.
And I understand you were, 12 years old when you had this, discovered this fascination with cooking. What was it when you were 12 that sort of like, I sort of like this. This is fun.
Well, back in the day, we were more or less optional, but yet required to take a homemaking type class. So I took cooking as my first and sewing as my second. I was 12 in junior high school, 7th grade. And I just loved to cook. I just liked to go in the kitchen and get stuff and experiment, add ingredients, take away and blah, I just like to cook.
You're listening to This Week in America. Our website is thisweekinamerica.us. Our guest on the program today is Dorothy Samarin. D.A. Samarin is what you will find on the book. The book is called How About a Casserole? It's available in several places. You can go to our website, and then we'll put the link up there, published by Dorrance Books. You can also go to Amazon.com and find the book there as well. If you're watching on YouTube, the information is there on how to order the book. Information at our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/TWIA-TV. So it's all over. And if you just go in and Google How About a Casserole, you'll find information on the book there as well. It's interesting you mentioned that because I actually could remember where the guys went off to shop class and the girls went off to home ec. And it was that way for a lot of years.
Yes, it was.
I can make a birdhouse, but I can't make a casserole. There's something that just really isn't fair with that. And the thing with the casserole too, and that's why I think the book is doing so well, is this really, you can modify. If you're worried about a particular diet, and casserole to some, they may think it's a heavy meal. It's got a lot of food that's going to be more fat and calories than I really need. What you mentioned how you like to do substituting, and you talk about that in the book. You can make this really a very healthful meal and not damaging in terms of your diet.
Exactly. Low fat, non-fat ingredients, says it all in the book.
Yes, it has it all there, and doing a lot of substituting. And you can, what's interesting, when you look at this, there are no hardcore rules when you're doing casseroles. What you can actually do fresh vegetables that you can put in there as well. And in season, that's got to be great. And following the recipe, you're able to do that.
Yes, sir. You're right. You're absolutely right, Rick. Follow the recipe.
What are some of your favorite? I look through all of these and I go chicken macaroni casserole. That's good. Well, the beef and everyone I go to, it's like, okay, I got to try this. This is my favorite. You and your family, what are some of the ones that you really like?
To be honest with you, all of them, but they like my beef enchiladas. They're, again, follow the recipe, something called chicken pilaf with chicken pieces, stuffed bell peppers, cabbage rolls. Oh my goodness, I could go on and on. There's egg recipes for like a brunch if you want, no potatoes. I mean, some potatoes, and you could have a little side dish of egg and veggies. Yeah, it's all there.
Well, the nice thing is, once again, this is you add your personal touch and you encourage everybody to add their personal touch. So, in fact, it's a great title. How about a casserole? As you're trying to figure out what to fix for a meal, a casserole is perfect because, again, as I said a few minutes ago, it's whatever you want it to be.
Exactly. That's what took me. I've been cooking them, experimenting with them for like 25 years.
When did you decide I've got all of this knowledge that I put together in working on this? I think I'm going to do a book and help other people. Was that a long process to figure that I'd like to do a book?
Yeah, actually, when I got out of high school, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to work in the newspaper, but unfortunately, back in the 1950s, I couldn't afford to go to college. So in the back of my mind, I always wanted to write something, yes. And all this, I says, I'm going to share with other people. Let them have the pleasures that I've had all these years. And nowadays, everybody's busy, working, school, games, This way, spend a couple hours and you got a meal for a few days.
Well, yeah, and what's interesting is I say you can make a casserole whatever you want it to be, rather than take the time and experiment. You really have done that. Once you look through the book, How About a Casserole? T.A. Samarin is our guest on the program. Once you look through the book, you pretty well have done that experimentation for us, haven't you? Where you've actually figured, okay, this is good, and this is the way you put it together.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Rick.
When I mentioned putting it together, how long does it take to actually, from start to finish, the process for a casserole?
Oh, I would say, give or take, I'd say close about an hour. And I've got it down to a science now because I have a pasta with it. I use one pot. Cook the pasta, let it, drain it, and then I use that to fry the meat or brown the chicken or whatever, cook the veggies. Then I'll just have the one pot to wash and a few spoons and such.
The book is called How About a Casserole? At the back of the book, you'll find something, this was fascinating to me, measurements. And it really tells you what you need to know to do this. The price of the book is offset by a definition of a pinch. I don't know whether that's anybody's ever said what that is before. Everybody keeps talking about a pinch, and I've sort of thought a pinch is sort of whatever you want it to be. And it's like you've got an eighth of a teaspoon or less is actually a pinch.
A pinch, yeah, a pinch. I mean, if someone has tiny fingers, of course, the pinch is going to be a little bit smaller than someone with larger fingers. But it just grab it and,
Like I said, a pinch is finally defined for me, so I like that. What kind of response have you been getting from people, the people that you don't know that have bought the book and people that do know you that probably have admired your cooking for years that are like, wow, this is great. I actually now have Dorothy's own recipe.
They love it. They love it. They've asked me all throughout the years if, I would make for shut-in people who are ill or whatever and can't do their cooking. I would make it and take it to them. And they love it. They said, could I have the recipe? I said, well, no, not right now.
But my book is coming out soon, so you'll be able to get those and many others in the book. You mentioned before that sometimes you can put a salad or whatever. Is a casserole a meal unto itself, or can you have maybe a little smaller portion and bring in others like a salad, a roll, something like that?
Yeah, like I said, you could also in the book it tells instead of a certain size, you could downsize it to make two instead of the one. And you'll have one, you freeze it, you have it left over for another meal. I mean, just have something different on the side if you're going to have a spaghetti or whatever. A veggie would be a salad would be the best. Yeah, you could go many, many ways with a casserole, many ways.
And the thing is, we've talked about the fact that you could do it, get a couple meals off of it, you can freeze it. What's the average shelf life? If you decide, okay, I'm going to make a large portion here, and we're going to try to get a couple of meals spread out over a couple of weeks, shelf life is pretty good in terms of freezing this and retaining the flavor?
Yes, I've frozen some of mine for 2, 3 months. Of course, you unthaw it, then you cook it, you know.
Yeah, right, right. Are you still experimenting? I get the impression that you enjoy your time in the kitchen, and I'm still working on. There's still things that I can learn after doing this for 25 years.
Yes, I do. I will go see some recipe wherever, and I'll say, I'm not looking. Believe it or not, Rick, I could tell if I'm going to like something just by the ingredients themselves, what meshes together.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting. With all the years that you've been doing this, I'm sure that you could almost taste it just by looking at a recipe.
yeah, that's true. Yes, to be honest with you, yes, this is true. Um, yeah, I'll say, this looks good. Maybe instead of putting that, I'll put this. Or maybe I'll add that or take away that, and there you go.
So already you're substituting as you're reading the reading the recipe. And again, I emphasize because that's the beauty of a casserole is that you can substitute, and you're
Yes.
encouraged even as you're reading the book. How about a casserole? If you'd like to substitute, feel free to do that because that's sort of the fun of doing a casserole.
That's exactly right. I like to experiment with stuff. I have, a very curious mind. I don't know. Just I like sometimes, I've done things and, it didn't turn out very well. So
Well,
I scratch it out and do something different until I get it down to a science.
and all the recipes in the book are proven recipes. They're varied. They're a personalized collection of recipes
Yeah.
that you've been able to come up with. And again, we got a few minutes left in the program. Casserole. Some people would hear that and go, "That sounds awful complicated." And again, you're saying no. It's just the opposite of that. Put a little effort into it, and you can make a multitude of meals, and they're very easy.
Yeah. One thing about making a casserole is you spend all that hour, let's say, putting it together, and that's it. It's over. Put it in the oven and you're done. You don't have to wait to mash a potato for something or fry a hamburger for something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All the time you spend making it, that's all the effort you need.
And in the book, you've also got vegetables and side dishes. I mentioned before what you could put if you want to serve something else with it in the meal, and you've got all those listed in there as well. In fact, you could start off doing, you've got like a breakfast casserole ideas here as well. You could start
Oh,
today with a casserole and end your day with a casserole.
yes, you could. If you're having some people over for brunch, make one of those, and there you go. Orange juice or whatever.
What
Fruit.
what kind of experience has this been for you, actually going through the publishing process and picking up that book for the first time, and it says, "How about a casserole?" And underneath the picture of a casserole is D.A. Samarin. How exciting was that for you? That wow, I
Oh,
actually have a book.
unbelievable, Rick. When I got my first copy that Doran sent me, I actually have to be honest with you, tears came to my eyes. I kept looking at it and said, oh my goodness, that's me. It's
Well,
just,
it's exciting for you and for everyone else that reads the book because it brings a whole new, for many people, a whole new era of eating in a casserole. The book is called How About a Casserole? It's available in a number of sources. Doran's Publishing is where you can find it. We've got the on our website and on YouTube. We've got the information there. It's available at Amazon.com, at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. You can find it there as well. And just Google How About a Casserole. That's the name of the book. The author is D.A. Samarin, Samin. You can get all the information on the book there as well. Will there be a sequel? Are you working on something else? I'm sure you've got a lot of other recipes that you've got stored away somewhere that we'd love to have you share those with us.
well, who knows? I sure may. Yeah. I just take one day at a time, and I thank God I do. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that I see a sequel coming here, so we'll have you back on the program to talk about that. Dorothy, thank you so much for joining us. It's opened up a whole new world for a lot of people, talking about exactly a casserole, what it is, what it isn't, how you can make it for you. And it finally told me that question I've been answering for a long time, what's a pinch? So it's been very valuable for me there as well. Thank you for joining us on the program. We appreciate. Good luck with the book, and the book is How About a Casserole? Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Rick.
You're,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. You're
Bye bye.
listening to This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network.